Things I no longer believe in. As I've been getting older, I've started to understand that there's just simply things that you can't leave room for in your life if they're not adding to your cup, right? One of the biggest changes that I've had more recently in my psychology and my approach to life is releasing the idea of perfection, right? Nobody's ever going to truly be perfect. And even in my own mind, understanding that at the time, I still was seeking some sort of level of perfectionism, whether that was the way I presented my videos, or the way I did a certain thing had to be done a certain way. And truth be told, I still feel a lot the same way but I understand now that that can be achieved in phases, where it can look really good in this phase, but it may not be the full picture, how I see it just yet. So releasing this idea of perfection has been a really big one for me, and we'll go back to the phases, and I want to dive into that in a second. But another thing that really resonated with me as I've gone through some stages of life that I no longer have time for, it's my own inconsistency. At the end of life, right? Well, I shouldn't say at the end of life. I want to say that when you look back over a period of your life, you look back over different stages, like days, weeks, months, um, you see the direction of things go a certain way, and you see when they shift either for the better or for the worst. And a lot of this is a byproduct of either one, consistency, i.e., going toward the positive direction, or inconsistency, i.e., going toward a more negative or adverse direction. And as I've gotten older, and as I've experienced more things, and as I've achieved different levels of success, I've recognized that there are moments in my life where my own enemy was me. And this is probably for a lot of people, but I'll speak from my personal experience. I know I'm my greatest enemy. I should be at such a crazy tier with everything I've already done and achieved in my life, but yet I've been the reason that I haven't gotten to that place. And that's because, one, I was holding on to this idea of a perfection, but two, I was breeding too much room for comfort and inconsistency. And those are two of the greatest killers that anybody can have. I was allowing myself to live in a place where, when I say place, I mean like mentally, as a framework, being in a place where I knew there were things that needed to be done, and I would half-ass do them, and as a result, I get half-ass results. And when you look at things from that perspective, through the cycles, through the years, and you start to look back at those times, you understand that the power was always in your hands. You always had a decision. You always had everything that you needed. You didn't really need anything more besides the action and the execution. And as I look back over my earlier 20s, when I was like 20, 21, 22, I see that fire, I see that burning, and I see that beauty in the imperfection and the unpolishedness. I was okay with it. But then once I caught something toward the back end of 22, into 23, and into 24, I perceived a version of myself that I had created that I no longer, in a sense, could keep up with. And that led me to become introverted. That led me to create time for things I no longer have time for, right? So that allowed me to live in a space where I saw perfection in my imperfections and my flaws, and by doing that, I drove myself crazy, and I lost everything. And by giving myself too much room for inconsistency and comfort, I lost my sense of direction. I lost sort of drive. I lost passion for the pursuit, and that destroyed me, and it killed me as well. But now, here, in this stage of life, at 25, having experienced the cycles in between those moments, this is the moment, this is the age where you see people's dreams live or they die. You see people who decide, hey, I'm going to be this person. And you see people who decide, hey, I'm going to continue to be that guy. And depending on your perspective, that can be the good or bad side. It works either in either terminology, but nonetheless, you find yourself in a place where the people who, or I should say the versions of yourself that have existed, kind of in a sense, different people, have held you back. And you only have one decision to make right here and right now. Are you going to continue to give space and time to those versions of yourself, or to those things that no longer serve you? Or on the other side, are you going to decide now? Well, I guess I just said that, but additionally, are you going to decide now you're going to live your life exactly how you decide? You're going to live life on the terms that you set for yourself every single day. You're not going to seek any external approval. You're going to try your best, your hardest, follow your gut, your intuition, ultimately. And that's not to say that you can't ask for or receive help or reflections from others, but that means that at the end of the day, the decision that you make, you have to make. You can get feedback, but you have to decide if that feedback is useful or not, and execute on your vision, your plan. And a lot of people just won't understand sometimes, and that's okay. You have to be comfortable being misunderstood if you really want to live the life that you want. And that's what you have to realize, that time waits for no one. The time is going to take for you to be the person that you need to be starts now. Or you're going to continue to put more time into the versions of yourself that no longer serve you, thus compounding, thus solidifying more of that old version of you. So I ask you again, are you going to create time for you to be who you're meant to be, or are you going to continue to waste it? That's all I got, guys. Let me know your thoughts, as always, and if you want to join my community, you can see it linked somewhere down below in the description or in my bio. That being said, I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Really think about this, though. Really think about this one. This one came truly, truly, truly from my heart, because I felt this. So, yeah. Love you guys. Deuces.